Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have been enjoying your food and conversation. It is now time to turn our attention to celebrating and honoring one remarkable man's leadership and commitment to our community.
Marshall Field exemplifies the power and wisdom of giving where you live for the long term. He is a man who leads with strength, deep integrity, and an unwavering commitment to making a difference on lifelong passions, including environmental conservation, education, healthcare, the arts, and more. A retired businessman and publisher, he represents the fifth generation of a storied Chicago family celebrated for its civic leadership.
Giving his time, talent, and resources is simply in Marshall's DNA. And that is why nationally he volunteers with organizations like the World Wildlife Fund and the Nature Conservancy. And locally, he gives his time to the Hobe Sound Community Chest, the Everglades Foundation, the Boys and Girls Club of Martin County, and of course, the Community Foundation.
Today, we asked an individual who has worked with Marshall both in the Chicago community and here in South Florida to help us honor him. Sherry Barrett is a former Community Foundation board chair and received last year's McIntosh Award with her husband, Tom. She understands Marshall's enduring impact in many ways, including as a fellow philanthropist, as a mentor, collaborator, and as a friend. Please join me in welcoming Sherry Barrett.
Thank you, Jeff and Danita, for inviting me to be a part of this moment. I am very lucky to have worked alongside Marshall Field for many years, witnessing firsthand his quiet leadership and his belief that philanthropy is not a moment, it's a lifelong responsibility. Marshall and I got to know each other during my time in Chicago. He and I stayed in touch over the years after Tom and I returned to Florida. When he found out that I had joined the Community Foundation board, he told me that he would be happy to help us if the need arose. Well, I took him up on that offer when I became board chair. We had a long conversation about how he had led the tremendous growth of the Chicago Community Trust and how we might draw from that experience to help grow our community foundation. We wanted him to join the board, but wisely, Marshall preferred to stay out of the governance and serve as a special advisor. And he gave us great advice. I would say, Marshall, in Chicago, everyone knows what the Chicago Community Trust does. Here, not so many people know what a community foundation does, nor do they understand the power it can give them to impact their community. So Marshall said, well, let's ask some of the civic leaders and the community leaders here. And the Civic Leadership Committee was born just to do that. Several people in this room joined that committee, along with civic and business leaders who did not know about us, but were interested in learning and helping. I used to tell Marshall that he was my bait, that I used to attract all those busy people to carve out time for us. Marshall loves to fish, as you know, so it was a good thing that he was happy to be the bait for a change and for a good cause. The input we received from that group was instrumental in laying the foundation for the resulting campaign to build our donor base and our endowment. Today, Marshall still gives his time and his wisdom as a member of the Philanthropy Committee, and in between, he has helped open countless doors to connect the great wealth with the great need in Palm Beach and Martin counties. No matter where he is, his approach is the same. Invest deeply, lead humbly, and stay committed for the long haul. He knows that communities don't change because of institutions alone. They change because individuals decide to care and take action. So let's hear from a few people who have been on the receiving end of Marshall's care with this special tribute to the living legend that is Marshall Field. So take a look at the video.
He lowers the temperature in a room. Sometimes you don't expect it, but it happens at the right time. So he mixes all of these character traits together to be a man who delivers.
When you look at the philanthropic reach of the Field family in Marshall Field, I mean, it goes from Chicago to the North Atlantic to South Florida. Just imagine the size of that triangle.
Marshall's just amazing. Marshall is a builder. He doesn't just give advice. You know, some people, they say that you put your money where your mouth is. Marshall puts his intellect, his connections, his energy, his time, he puts everything into it. So when Marshall decides to help, he helps.
Both of our parents have been concerned with helping the world around them, just in general. And so we grew up in a household that lived that. And it was part of sort of who we were as a family and individually.
Our father's legacy is giving back to this new type of philanthropy, which is the Community Foundation, because he would like to entrust that his philanthropic dollars live on in perpetuity.
Hope Sound is a community where anyone who has food needs can get those needs met. It would not be that way without Marshall Field.
And Marshall was insistent that we look to raise endowed funds because he has a long-term view. And that's a little bit harder to do, but very much speaks to the core of Marshall. He's not here just for today, he's here for the long term. He believes in building a structure that will be sustainable.
On behalf of the Everglades Foundation, I congratulate you on receiving this year's McIntosh Award.
Congratulations on the McIntosh Award, sir. To say it's well-deserved is an understatement.
Congratulations, Marshall. You deserve this award so much, and you have given so much to this community foundation. I just can't think of somebody who deserves this more. And I know you don't like awards, so you must have done this because you love us.
Dad, I'm so proud of you for getting the McIntosh Award. Everything that you do for so many people and so many places, it's really overwhelming in some senses. So you deserve this, and we love you.
Dad, congratulations on this McIntosh Award. I hope you're having a wonderful day with everyone and celebrating the Community Foundation. We're so proud of you.
Marshall, it has been one of the great privileges of my life to work alongside you, to learn from you, and to call you friend. So in recognition of Marshall's long-standing leadership and commitment to the community, please join me in congratulating the 2026 McIntosh Award recipient, Mr. Marshall Field. Marshall, will you come up? Want me to put that down there for you? Great.
Okay, I want to first of all thank Sherry Barrett because she was the one who got me to join this effort. And she said, I'd worked with her in Chicago where she had one of the top jobs in Northern Trust, and then she moved down south, maybe Miami. And then she moved a little further north, and she called me up and she said, Marshall, I'm the chairman of the board of the Martin County Palm Beach Foundation, and we're going to do a $100 million campaign, and I need your help. Will you do it? Well, if you knew Sherry, you'd know you were never going to say no because she'd keep after you until you gave up. So I just said sure. And I think my memory may be wrong, but I think that we got like 80 and then COVID came. That was the end of us. So we didn't get the 100, but it was a good start. So today, I want to thank the Community Foundation for this recognition and for keeping me busy for the last decade. And thank you to all of you who showed up today to support this lunch and the work of the Community Foundation. To be recognized by an organization that represents integrity, stewardship, and community leadership means a great deal to me. I've been fortunate to learn alongside many of you in this room, fellow donors and nonprofit leaders. And all of you know one thing about me: I don't really like recognition. And all of you know one thing about why I don't, because I think you're more effective at raising money if they don't see you coming. Fundraising is about a partnership. It's about listening. It's about supporting organizations and leaders who are doing hard, unglamorous work of making the world a better place. I came to Martin County in 1957, and I have been doing what I can to get this beautiful place cleaner, safer, healthier, and happier for my kids, yours, and all of our grandchildren. I don't really get overpaid. In fact, I get paid nothing for this, but my reward is to go to bed feeling really satisfied that you've actually done something to nudge the world. And I have news for you. I'm not done yet, and since the Community Foundation made the mistake of giving me the stage, I have an ask. If you were inspired today to support a cause like hunger, or education, or the arts, or environment, or any other thing that matters to you, I ask you to think about creating an endowed fund. Endowments are quite literally the future of philanthropy. Endowments protect your assets, they honor your preferences, and when you create one with a community foundation, nobody can mess with them. The best example of the power of endowments is the Community Foundation. This award is named after Winsome and Michael McIntosh, two Palm Beachers that wanted to make sure the community would be taken care of in the future. They seeded the Community Foundation in 1972 with $50,000. Look around this room. Look how that seed has grown. Think about how many nonprofits it has supported, how many neighbors it has helped, and how many people like me have had a hand in growing it into the pillar that it is. And so it is a great joy to accept this award from the Community Foundation because it honors leadership rooted not in recognition, but in responsibility. I take it as a sign of encouragement to keep going and to keep giving where I live, inspiring you to do the same. Thank you.